insisting that this should be the way forward, but county governments and even members of parliament are reluctant to take it up. And Bwana Poghisio, my issue now is about the MPs and how probably they're using the legislative process to settle scores with the president. And you've served as leader of majority in the Senate. And what risks are there when now the Houses of Parliament decide that their role and their legislative process will be used to hit back at the president or the executive for that matter?
I'm afraid, and this is very, very, very scary actually, that just because you have the advantage of legislation doesn't give you the ticket to try and use that position to get back at the president. At one time I said, this house can never get back to the president legitimately. Because a captured house, it's a house that the president has sustained for all this 2 years or 3 years. On his, whatever he's giving them, sustained. It's the president who determined, for example, who becomes the majority leader. It's the president who determines who becomes chairman of committee, especially on the majority side. So how can you then, unless you get out, like of course the team that got out from UDA, those you can say for sure. The rest, I don't think they can. In any case, what is the beef here? Let's look at it. What's the beef? The beef here is that he called us corrupt. So why are you fighting if you're not corrupt? You know, it's actually common knowledge that members of parliament are sustained. And this is not the first time. It started a long time ago. I remember even when we were under President Moi, those days, members of parliament were actually sustained. But that was for another reason. I mean, our salaries were very low. These guys have no reason at all. They have very, very high salaries. They get allowances. They get car loans. They get everything. There's no reason why you should be corrupt in this parliament. There's no reason why you should even steal in this parliament, because you have enough resources. And you could just survive on that resource. But now, look, the president is waking up and saying, I want to fight corruption. And everybody wants to believe that the president actually wants to fight corruption. And for him to fight corruption, jumping onto this house called Parliament, before he deals with his own house, which is called the executive, that's where the beef is. If you want us to change fast. Isn't that what they're saying? And before you even jump onto the judiciary. So there are 3 houses of government, as we may call it. They call them arms. But actually, let's say, let's give an example. Let's say there are 3 houses of a government. It's like a polygamous family. 3 houses under the same system. If one place changes, the rest must change. You know, otherwise there's no point. So the 3 arms of government must change. And it's not the executive which is going to drive it. Okay? Because unless everybody agrees, every house agrees that we are not going to change. Even if the president changes, and like he says, he's seen the light, okay? It's what you call the Damascus moment. He's seen the light. But everybody must see that light. Mm-hmm. You can't see the light and start thinking that you can go to the county governments now. Everybody must see that. This is a systemic problem in this country that we must fight in a different way, not condemning one house. I mean, it's very difficult for you to say all members of parliament are corrupt. I mean, you know who is corrupt. You know, Fred, one of the things that I've said is that the president himself said he is a consumer of raw intelligence. Yeah. So does that start now? It started when he became president. Mm-hmm. Then he knows exactly, the president knows exactly who is corrupt in this country. He has the names, he has the corruption case itself, he has everything. If you consume intelligence, you know exactly what it is. So what the members of parliament are saying, please tell us who it is, arrest the people, and we move on from there, not everybody. So the fear is, why are you condemning the whole house? I'm telling you, I've said before, all governors are corrupt. How would I qualify that? But I can only say that because I assume so. But the president would know which governor is corrupt.
All right.
Because he consumes raw intelligence, which I don't have. So allow me to claim, but the president must be specific. And I think he has said it. By the way, I want to trust that President Ruto is going to fight this corruption. I want to trust. Because he knows everything. He knows everyone. He knows exactly who is corrupt. He knows what amounts have been consumed. I was watching the impeachment process in Senate the other day. And it's very interesting, the technicality that you can escape as a corrupt person. So you use technicality, so you escape. But does that make you innocent? No. So I'm suspecting that EACC will now come in, wherever NIS, whoever else can come in and say, okay, you may have jumped Senate, but this is your issue. Because they have all the information.
All right.
So why are you allowing some common human beings, or some people who are lay people in this intelligence and so on, to make a judgment, and then the fellow cannot be free? Does he go free because he escaped Senate? Or he goes free because he's not corrupt?
Yes.
So I do think that, so the beef between Parliament and the presidency is a very small issue. Very small issue. They just need to agree that we are all corrupt. Deal with our house first, secondly this house, and thirdly that house, so that we can all go together. Otherwise, I mean, we are as a country, we have a systemic problem that will never end, because corruption is budgeted corruption.
Yes.
It is in our budget.
And probably that's what this e-procurement system is meant to cure. That, and this has been the criticism towards the evolution. Last week we were marking 15 years of the Constitution, 12 years of